Gianfranco, what's the time?
It's 6:05 p.m., boss.
No, Franco. What is the time? What is the time left?
Oh, I see, boss. There's 3 minutos left.
Okay, 3 minutos. Get our Willy ready.
Sorry, what, boss?
Willy, get it out. We need to take off the Kepa.
Oh, the keeper.
No, the Kepa.
See, the keeper. Get him off.
See, Franco, get up you Willy. Get it ready and get him off.
But why? Okay, hold on, Willy. Hold on. Hey, Carlo. Hold on to Willy. Hold him.
Don't hold Willy, Carlo. Franco, it's too late.
Too late to get it off?
No, it's too late, so you have to get him off.
But there's only 1 minute left.
Exactly, Franco. Hurry up and get the Willy ready.
Boss, the Willy is not ready.
Yes, he is. I see him. Look, the Willy is ready.
Boss, but why?
Franco, because Kepa the keeper is too young to play so late, and I want to get a Willy and pull off a Kepa the keeper, okay?
Boss, I think you lose your mind. Oh, fellas, what's going on here?
Fuck it, Carlo, fuck it, Frankie. All I wanted to do was get out of the Willy, get him off of the bench, pull off the Kepa with the keeper with a Willy. Is he too much to us?
For this, lads. Play on, everyone!
Fuck everybody, I'm leaving. Fuck this shit. Fuck Roman. Fuck Willy. Fuck Kepa. I'm leaving. I'm going back to Italy. Up for Napoli.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Born Offside. It is hotting up in the Premier League, but all eyes this weekend were on the Carabao Cup final.
Mate, what is Carabao?
Ooh, Carabao is it's a bull with 2 horns, and they go around going, "I got a carab in my bow."
What's carab and what's a bow?
He's taking a bow in front of his carab. Honestly, I have no idea. I'll be totally honest. I have no idea. I think it's something to do with is it a fizzy drink? Is it some kind of drink?
I've never had one.
Yeah. No, and I'm not entirely sure that I will have one either. But all I know is that it sponsors our cup, the cup that is most coveted in these British Isles.
It is the best cup
really,
final in a February. Like all the February-based cup finals, it is the best. Mate, I settled down Sunday afternoon for an afternoon of the footballs. I first had, and we'll talk about this in a bit, I'm sure, but we'll talk about Manchester United, Liverpool. We had that. And then we had the cup final of Manchester City versus Chelsea. And do you know what I didn't see? A bloody goal. All reeking afternoon, there wasn't a single goal. And we are now going to spend approximately 8.5 minutes talking about a substitution. Such was the lack of goals. And in fact,
it is so true.
Not even a substitution, because even that didn't actually happen.
It was like a non-substitution. It was a substitution that never was. It'll be a pub question.
Like, that's the highlight of the weekend, is a substitution that didn't happen. But I make it sound bad, but mate, have you ever seen anything anywhere at any level of football? Mate, can we do a description of what we think or thought happened? Mate, I think you should set up the fact that, like, I'll do it. It was 0-0 in the final, right? So it's Chelsea versus Manchester City. Chelsea are one of the few teams who have beaten Manchester City this year earlier at Stamford Bridge. However, City got their revenge and thumped them 6-0 and were 4-0 up in 30 minutes. Like, go back 2 podcasts and you can talk to me and Jay. You can hear me and Jay talking about exactly that. And so Chelsea give up Sarri ball. We can talk about that in a bit more detail, but seemingly give up Sarri ball, put Eden Hazard up front more or less on his own, pack everybody behind, deliver the bus. I'm mixing up my cliches, and it's 0-0. But if anything, if anyone's going to win that game towards the end, maybe Chelsea. If Hazard does something on the break, and there's a minute to go, and Kepa, who's the most expensive goalkeeper in the world, and also probably the most expensive 12-year-old in the world, Kepa's been carrying an injury and was a doubt for the final. He's been declared fit, is now into extra time, and has gone down seemingly with cramp a couple of times. And the second time, with a minute to go, Chelsea still have a substitution yet left. Sarri seems to think, oh, fuck it. He keeps falling over. I've got a substitution left. And on the bench, I have a goalkeeper who is actually fairly useless at pretty much everything, except for one thing, which he's very, very, very good at, saving penalties. And if you look up their comparative record, I think Kepa's, I keep calling him Keeper. Kepa is I think it's something like he's saved 3 out of the 21 penalties he's faced in his professional career, whereas Caballero has saved, I think it's 10 of 27. So it's a much better rate. And Willy Caballero used to play for Manchester City very recently, so has spent training sessions. So Sarri's gone, he's injured, he's very good, my replacement is very good at this situation, and he knows which way all of their fellas go. The stars have aligned. I shall take off Kepa the keeper, and I shall bring on my secret weapon. But oh no, that's not what happened. And Kepa just refuses to move. And it's almost as if Kepa's thought to himself, if I don't move, you can't take me off. If I don't, I'll just stay here. And I'll do. And he does this a lot. He's like, no, I'm not moving. And Sarri,
gesticulations.
A lot of gesticulation. And then Sarri, who looks like a grumpy old grandfather anyway, loses his shit. Just loses it. Poor.
Mate, it was like being at home for Christmas, and the older statesman of the family, who everybody is a little bit kind of, oh god, he's still alive. He decides to lose it. This is my last Christmas. Obviously, I'm going to die next year. So I'm just going to fucking go for it and start throwing plates at the fucking tree. That's how pissed off I am with everybody and everything, and there's nothing anyone can do to solve it. Mate, he was pissed off, mate. There's no hiding that. And I think his reaction is what has thrown everybody off, because my first gut instinct was Kepa is injured slightly, but he can continue, and he believes that Sarri is just bringing him off because he's injured, and so Kepa is just kind of going, you don't need to, boss, you don't need to, it's okay, I'm okay. So that's the initial impression that I got. I didn't think it was.
Don't you feel like, I also thought it was that when I first saw it. I thought that he was carrying an injury. He's gone down twice in quick succession with the injury, and Sarri doesn't want to risk the most important player, who is, the goalkeeper in a penalty shootout is your most important player. Doesn't want to risk him. I don't think it was pre-planned. I don't think there was, hey lads,
I don't think so
we get to 119 minutes and we still have a substitution left, and bringing on Big Willy because he knows which way the other guys are going to shoot. I don't think that. I think it was an opportunistic thing because of the injury. However,
because Kepa would have come off straight away if that was
right. Well, he should have. It crossed the line of Gaffer, I'm fine, Gaffer, I'm fine, Gaffer, I'm fine. I can understand him saying that, but it crossed the line where it was no, fuck it, you're coming off now. And
Kepa going, no, I'm not. I'm fucking not. It went both ways suddenly, and it was something that a simple conversation between the two of them would have sufficed. Kepa although he was carrying this injury, you see, and I think that was one of the reasons why he didn't do this, but he should have just jogged over to Sarri and said, hey, by the way, boss, I'm okay. Oh, you okay? Oh, yeah, I'm okay. All right, okay, let's keep going. And that's apparently what the physio, the message that the physio had taken back to Sarri. But it was just all wrong, wasn't it? It was all conducted incorrectly. It was all wrong.
then,
and of course, the press had a field day on it.
Well, the thing
They
is,
just,
post-match, Sarri claimed that it was a misunderstanding, which I would have believed had it not been for the fact that once they've had that initial disagreement, the ref comes over and says, what do you want to do? Right? Because the ref is obviously like, I'd like to get on with this. I have to get a bus back.
I got pies in the oven. I got...
The missus is already upset enough as it is that it's going to go to penalties and delay everything. Like, I would like to get back on time. What's happening here, fellas? Like, and that was the point at which, if it had been a genuine miscommunication, and Sarri is like, oh, really? He's okay? Well, all right, fine.
Yeah.
But what then doesn't make sense is Sarri then loses his shit again and makes for the tunnel. Like, where was he going?
He says he needed some time to get away, but it was only like a second, It was poetic, wasn't it? It was poetic because when he walked down, all you can see is his back and the doors opening and the commentator saying, could he be walking away from the Chelsea job? And it's like, oh my God, you could not write this. You could not write it.
But then he turned around and came back. And that's when I lost respect for him. That's when I lost respect. I was like, dude, if you're going to storm off in a huff, go the full hog. Go the whole way. Come on. Don't oh, shit, hang on, that's a bad idea. Hang on, sorry, coming back. No, I lost. If you're going to storm off. Don't huff.
Yeah. If I was a Chelsea fan, I would be thinking that was it. Now we've got a loony in charge. We've got a guy in charge who, and here we go. Here comes everything that we've been thinking but not saying. Although on this podcast we have been saying, this cigarette chewing butt man of a butt man,
homophobic misogynist.
A homophobic misogynist, which I mentioned early doors before he got the fucking job, and everyone's like, nah, we'll just ignore that and we want Sarri balls, All right then, here you go. Good luck. If I was a Chelsea fan right now, I would have had enough, and that's it now. I've had enough. I'm a Chelsea fan. I want him gone. We don't really have that much danger or that much to lose now in this this last run in. Bring in Gus Hiddink. Where's Gus?
Goose was sat there so. Imagine Goose turned up to Wembley and he was like, "All right, they'll just lose this final. It'll be 3 or 4-0, and I should imagine I'll have the job by 8 p.m. I should imagine."
Tuesday, yeah.
And then what's happened is they've seemingly played for Sarri. Chelsea played a physically difficult game plan. They sat back, they ran hard, they worked. It felt like maybe they were playing for themselves, but you can't accuse that Chelsea team of lacking spirit, effort, and fight. And then that substitution entirely swung them up the psychological momentum. I'm not a player, so I can't tell you, but Vincent Kompany afterwards was very telling when they asked Kompany, have you ever seen anything like that? And Kompany tried, Vincent Kompany, who is like a saint in football, universally loved by everybody,
says the right thing all the time.
Always. Yeah. Even Vincent Kompany was trapped into going, no, I haven't. I mean, no. Even Kompany had a giggle. He had, and it just seemed to me that the man, the Man City players felt like that they were going to win. They were like, what is going on with that lot? Hello, lads, this is ours. And I think that was most summed up by 2 moments. One, Aguero's penalty, which,
Yep.
sorry, mate, you would have saved that penalty. That was.
Thank you. I would have. Yeah.
You genuinely would have saved that penalty. And Aguero, like, normally when you score a penalty, you give it like a full fist bump. Yeah, come on. Aguero is embarrassed. Like, Aguero's like, oh, shit.
Hi, Mom.
Well, got away with one there. Like, you could see Aguero almost like, I kind of wish I hadn't scored. Like, that
would have been better. Yeah.
That was really bad. And then at the end, City gave Chelsea the ultimate trolling by sending up Raheem Sterling to take the all-important penalty. Raheem Sterling. And I'm sat there watching it. Well, that's missed. This is carrying on for a bit. And Sterling, like, puts it in off the bar.
Right. Beautiful pen. Slightly risky, but it's okay.
Slightly risky. Mate, while we're on slightly risky, mate, Eden Hazard's play.
Hazard, yeah. Mate, what do you think of this view that we've got of the penalties now? I'm all game for that. I love it. It's we've seen a lot of changes in Sky Sports and in the way that the Premier League is sort of viewed by the viewers and everything. But this is, and I was a bit nervous by it because at first I was a bit, I'm not sure how this is working for me. And I started to think, like, what about the keeper? Does the keeper get distracted by this? There's a freaking camera sort of kind of in his face, right? Is he getting distracted by that? I wonder if they're going to complain about that or whatever. But the views of the penalty show you just how beautifully they're taken. Yeah, it's awesome. And yeah, that Hazard penalty.
Azpilicueta's going like. But mate, my favorite thing about that view is if you look, you can see the people in the crowd giving it the and the finger. Mate.
It was great. I'm sure that there'll be hot discussions on Monday morning, as to whether they'll be doing that view again. But how could you can't just have an invitation? You can't have an invitation for people in the future. They're going to be like, I'm getting behind that goal. Definitely, if there's pens, I'm behind that goal. I'm gonna have banners out. I'm gonna you sucked my dick at school. Do you remember? Shit like that.
Well, you remember when Sky Sports had to really tone down their transfer deadline day coverage because people were like turning up outside Harry Redknapp's house with giant pink dildos and stuff. You remember? Penalty shootouts are just going to be like, right, get the dildos out.
It's gonna be like 5 dildos all up in the air.
I don't even care if we win.
It's gonna be so much fun, mate. It'd be like the talk of the town. You'd be in the pub like afterwards, going, "Did we lose?" I don't know. I had a good time.
And you see me on TV? Yeah, that's me. Right, top left. There we are. 2 pink dildos. There we are. That's me.
The seventh dildo to the right. That's me.
Oh, rainbow! I know, classy touch.
Love it. All right, mate. Look, let's move on because we promised that we'd only speak for 10 minutes, but we're already speaking for 20 minutes on this. I think bottom line of this, and just sort of finishing up, Man City have got their first of a possible 4. The quadruple is on now. Is it on? Is it not on?
It's on.
It's on.
I mean, it's
obviously
definitely on.
It's on.
No.
But is it possible? And which cup do you think is the place that they're going to falter?
I think, funnily enough, it's the FA Cup. Because I think, they've won this one, so that's in the bag. Liverpool look like they're going to fuck the league. Tottenham already have. So there's that.
Liverpool next, yep.
I thought Juve were their biggest opposition in the Champions League, but they seem to be going out. Madrid are not as good as they were. Barca are extremely Messi dependent. Like I went to see, because I live here now, I went to see a Barcelona game where Barcelona had 20 shots on goal. It was against Real Valladolid. And they had 20 shots on goal. And Messi either took or assisted every single one of those shots.
I heard of that stat. Yeah. Did you see the Sevilla match as well? I mean, we can talk about that towards the end of the show if we have time. But obviously he got the great hat-trick in there. But yeah.
But anyway, my point being that the Champions League, I think, is kind of there for City. I think they're favourites. But I fancy them to lose to Manchester United in the final of the FA Cup.
How interesting. Wow. Okay, well, that would be fascinating if that happens because, and if it is a Man United, Man City, because, I mean, they could face each other, earlier or whatever, but could they?
Yes, they could. They're not against each other in the quarters, but if they win their quarters, they could end up in the semis together.
Yeah, exactly.
Either way, a Wembley occasion, and Ole cements his legendary status by robbing Pep of the quadruple.
Well, we've seen it all, and form goes out the window in these matches as well, as we saw on Sunday. Mate, let's move on very quickly. I think we had some matches last night, so I think we need to discuss very, very quickly the 4 matches that transpired in the Premier League. Leicester 2, Brighton, Hove Albion 1. So now Leicester, we'll talk a little bit about Leicester in a second, but Brighton sort of getting closer and closer to danger. The other battle at the bottom, Newcastle 2, Burnley 0. Looks like Newcastle have turned a corner and are going to be speeding out of it. Mate, probably the shocking one of all of them was Huddersfield 1, Wolves 0. Real disappointment for Wolves, but a bit of a story of their Premier League time in this first season, right? Playing fantastically against top 6 teams, and then going down and losing 1-0 at Huddersfield. It's been a bit of a tale, a repetitive tale for them, hasn't it?
Yes, it's a shocking result, but completely inconsequential.
To everything and anyone.
Anyone.
Thank you very much. Well wrapped up. That's enough. Cardiff 0, Everton 3. And that is one that I am very excited about.
Not a good time to be a Cardiff fan. They've had 2 home matches in a row and lost them an aggregate of 8-1 because they lost
5-1 to Crystal Palace. Not Crystal Palace, sorry.
Watford. A Gerard Deulofeu hat-trick.
Beautiful hat-trick. I mean, admittedly, all 3 of them were counter-attacking goals, and he was one-on-one with a bloody keeper for every single one of them. But he took each of them beautifully, and
he likes the Tardelli, does Deulofeu. Deulofeu likes an expressive face, like, come on, like he loves it.
A good Tardelli for a little while, actually, and that was nice. It was good to get that out there. So we'll undoubtedly see a few more Tardellis as we draw closer towards the end of the season. But of course, that's a very big result for Southampton. We'll talk about them a little bit later on as well. And tomorrow we have some crunch matches as well. But I think that possibly the biggest one, and of course the one that we've been waiting for, is the thigh rubber at the top. Chelsea at home, Stamford Bridge, with the dungeons on 17 floors underneath them, against Tottenham Hotspurs. Now that'll be a fantastic match as well, mate. Just an early prediction for that one. Do you want to? I mean, I want to talk. Actually, I'll tell you what, let's talk about it after the break. Let's have a little bit of a break, and let's come back and let's talk in detail for that match, and also as to what happened with Spurs over the weekend.
O Kepa, my Kepa, where art thou now? Probably listening intently here and wishing for part 2.
Okay.
Welcome back to part 2 of Born Offside and Spurs. Mate, what a crazy weekend it has been. You mentioned at the top of the program the fact that there was no goals on the Sunday, and with both the 2 title contenders either not in action or not performing, and we'll come on to Liverpool against Manchester United shortly. Spurs had a chance on Saturday morning, on the Saturday early kickoff, to cut the deficit down to 2 points off second place, and really put down, would you say, put down that statement of the fact that they are there and thereabouts thereabouts in the title race. Okay, not favourites, but certainly still sticking in there, a little bit like that turd off the back of the back of your dog's bum, and you can't sort of get it off, and he can't get it off, and no one else is getting it off, and you're just hoping that it just sort of shakes itself off. So you keep walking down the street, and you're hoping, but it just keeps like, it's stuck.
Yes, very much so, because that's how we played, like a turd that was stuck to something. Yeah, mate.
What happened? I mean,
I told you this would happen. Two, I've been saying for quite a while that Tottenham Hotspur are not in a Premier League title race for this exact reason, that we just find ways to fizzle out or to lose. And to be fair to Pochettino, he's reduced that from the ridiculous. Like, it used to be that we would eat a lasagna and lose. Or we would Mario Balotelli would kick Scott Parker in the back of the head and then get the winner and we'd lose. We used to lose in these
something to blame.
No, but like in these horrendously epic ways of losing. Poch has taken it to a level where we just kind of like, like,
oh wow.
He's taken it from what the fuck to like, and all credit to the man. The next step is to actually win, but I know.
It was with the game itself. It was obviously a huge disappointment, I think, for Tottenham. Lloris said so at the end himself as well, because it was a good opportunity to just push that final these final sort of 9 games to a crescendo. So but I think that it to every Tottenham fan, strange. Like, I know what you're saying, like you'd rather it just kind of be over so that all the haters don't come out and start doing all this kind of, it's very Spursy and it's very, like, just get it over and done with now. Just
let's be Spursy now. So let's people
so that. Yeah, exactly. And for the rest of the season, we can actually focus on consolidating third place, which you're 9 points clear of anyway, clear of Manchester United anyway. So you're in a really, really good position. Let's focus on that, and let's just let the season sort of fizzle out and look forward to next season.
Well, and we have a Champions League. And
of course, yes, you have a Champions League, and you can focus on the Champions League as well. So let's let the excitement come through there. You're out of the other 2 cups as well, so you can focus on that one a hell of a lot more as well. But mate, just in terms of the sort of the match itself, though, I mean, what disappointed me was that after Wood had scored that first goal. Mate, Harry Kane, you called it. He's made for February early Saturday kickoffs in Burnley. And this is what he's. He looked great. He looked. Okay. He didn't.
He looks lovely. Oh.
Mate, the hair needs a bit of a cut, but apart from that, I thought he looked. It was a bit wispy and a bit wavy, but apart from that, I thought the goal was great, and it was good to see him back. But then, just anyway. I mean, I my feelings for Spurs, and but I felt for you during that match. I really did. I thought, gosh, I didn't even watch the last 5 minutes, and that's so rare for me in any kind of football match. Because I've watched 85 minutes worth of the football match, but as soon as Barnes scored, I hung around for about 2 minutes, and I just couldn't see Spurs getting back into it at all. It
was very weird, because at 1-1 with 10 minutes to go, I was very confident that they were going to score, not for any like balance of play type reasons, but just because that's what we'd done in previous weeks. And I was kind of like, is it Winksy's going to score it? Or is it going to be... I was just expecting it to happen, because it has happened. And I was really calm. And then when Barnes scored, I was like, oh. And
that's
then,
not good.
What genuinely hit me was, I hope we lose or win, but I don't want to draw. Because I'm really kind of hoping that we can have the undrawable go through the whole season.
You're going to have to get a T-shirt made up for that, mate. That'll be awesome.
The undrawables. The no stale. Stale no, mate. Something like
Still Billy no mates. Billy no stalemates.
stale no mates. Something like that.
Mate, Pochettino was not. He was speaking
this is my
about.
favorite thing. This was the thing that
Yeah.
warmed my heart because traditionally, a Tottenham Hotspur manager does not complain. But
Well, you said it 3 weeks ago. What can we do? Do you remember? Or we were talking about that as well with it.
But what do winning managers do? What does Ferguson do and Mourinho do and even Klopp do? Like, even Jurgen, everybody fucking loves me, Klopp will give it to a referee. He will, like, get up in the referee's face and fucking give it to him. And Poch is always too nice. But then we saw this beautiful side of Poch. We know it's there.
There's a beautiful side.
He comes from the same hometown as Diego Armando Maradona. So you know he's got it. You know he's got it in there. And Poch was like full on, like in Mike Reed. Is it Mike Reed? That's his name, isn't it? Reedy.
Mike Dean.
Mike Reed was that guy from EastEnders. I apologize. He's in Mike Dean's.
It's Mike Dean. Yeah.
He's in Mike Dean's face, and I couldn't understand what was being said, but you could see Jesus, the assistant. I could see him quite clearly saying, "You can't say that. You can't say that. You can't say that." And you're not like, who's he talking to? Poch or Mike Dean?
He wasn't. Mate, have you read the I mean, because we don't know yet. It's got to come out soon. It has to come out. I mean, I think Mike Dean's in big trouble. I think he is, because he's just the kind of ref that would say something stupid like,
well, the rumor is the rumor is that
I fucked your sister. You got the headbutt.
The full Materazzi. Poch doesn't have a sister, I don't think. I don't know. No, the rumor is that he goaded Pochettino about the Llorente substitution not working out for him.
Substitution. That's right. I heard that. And
the weirdest thing, like, that substitution wasn't very good. And like, you could almost kind of understand Poch going, "What the fuck? I'm Mauricio fucking Pochettino. You're a ref. Shut the fuck up." But like, I mean, I was disappointed when Poch apologized for it. I think Poch should have just come out and said no. He's like, you know, like when Ferguson.
Hang on a second. Didn't he say that he might apologize? Or has he actually come?
No. He came out afterwards and he apologized. Ferguson would never have apologized. Mourinho would never have apologized. Ferguson would have made some vaguely weird Scottish comment about butcher's dogs. Do you remember when he was like that? Like, I think it was Phil Dowd was the ref, and Ferguson was like, "Hey, you better be as fit as butcher's dogs. Hey, we came around here, Manchester United, fuck off." And everyone's like, "Oh, Fergie, oh." I know. I like Poch being mad at the ref. He should do it more often.
Mate, if it was Mourinho, right, and because Mourinho would have done something sort of on the similar side, he would have said, like, "What did Mike Dean say to you, Jose? What did Mike Dean say to you at the end of the match?" "I cannot say, because I will get in trouble. But you have a sister, yes? I also have a sister. I leave it like that. Thank you."
Exactly. But what Jose would not have said, under any circumstances, Jose would not have said, "I'm sorry." Like,
no, never.
Words never. That's the meaning of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going around on Twitter at the moment as to what he said. It's obviously not come out. He's actually said he's not going to state it. He's not going to say it. So I think that if there's no reason if there's no reason for that to come out, although I really do think that it should, then he could.
For no reason other than you think it was funny. Like, that's the only.
For us, it's gonna be hilarious. It's gonna be great, but it'll be the end of Mike Dean, And Mike Dean is regarded. Okay, he's the He's the funny one who does all the strange movements when it's a penalty kick. Or there's a lot of YouTube videos on Mike Dean, by the way, if you guys want to go out and anybody wants to go out and have a look of him celebrating goals. But he's actually not celebrating. He just looks like he's celebrating. He does little hops and stuff and everything. He's very geeky. He's a real geek. But he's got one of the best track records. He's on 99 red cards. He's almost on 100. You remember there's all that talk about, we're all waiting on to see who the number 100 of his career is. He is a bit of a, well, let's just say, like, at a moment like this, I would not be surprised if he said something like, that substitution didn't go very well, did it? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at Dean
He very famously said, I think it was when he sent off Rooney, was it? I can't remember, but he has said to a player who he was sending off, he's brandished the card and has said to him, off your pop. Which is
off your pop, yes.
Off your pop.
This kind of thing you hear at school. Unbelievable. All right, mate. Let's move on. Let's have a little bit of a break, and when we come back, let's talk Manchester United and Claude and Leicester City as well, and poor old Claude Puel.
Gimme Mike Dean. A glutton for punishment. I have a sister. Do you? Sister or not, let's get on to part 3. Off you pop.
Right, we're back. Welcome back, mate. Let's just start very quickly and let's cover it. Claude Puel is gone. Vardy and co win. And now Rodgers is back. So that wave came and went very quickly, didn't it? It was something that it was on the cards it's been on the cards for ages. We've seen the wave in the distance. It's coming over, and it's like,
it's a big broad-shaped wave.
Should we leave? Should we leave the beach? It's a pretty big wave, that one coming. I mean, should we? No, just stick around, mate. Don't worry, it'll be fine. And then whoosh, and Claude's gone.
And Rodgers back.
And Rodgers back. Oh my God.
Brendan Rodgers, the Brodge. The Brodge is back in town. Brodge is back. Hello, mate. Wow. I mean, you could not get more polar opposites of managers, could you? Whispering Claude, who is a technician, who knows what he's doing, but has all of the charisma of a shoebox. And Brodge, who I am convinced doesn't have a fucking clue what he's doing, but has a fuck ton of charisma. Like, is a man who's almost nothing but charisma. Like, if David Brent from The Office were a football manager, he'd be Brendan Rodgers. He really would.
I am, but less funny. I am Brendan Rodgers.
I think Rodgers is almost more funny. That documentary where he put the names inside the envelope, like, and inside this envelope it will be the name of 3 people who have let me down, and you're like, you do realize that this is being filmed? No, you don't realize this is being filmed.
Hey, I'll be honest. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of Brendan Rodgers.
Me neither. He's a complete idiot.
Yeah,
but he'll be funny.
Yeah, exactly for that. Because I don't believe he has the technical and tactical nuance to lead a successful Premier League team. I mean, he was not good at Liverpool. I thought he took on a good side and he made them worse. I honestly believe that. And then since then, he's just been. No, I'm sorry. His track record is really bad. He feels like one of the old guard. It's like almost getting Sam Allardyce back or Bruce back. Or
I think I think he plays a bit more progressive football than those two. I mean, that Liverpool team that almost won the league, that was some sensational to look at football. I take your point.
I don't know. They had great players. Yeah.
Yes, I don't know if he was responsible for that, but I don't think he's like a Sam Allardyce respect the point type of person. But I do think that he's not as good as he thinks he is. I mean, if he was as good as he thinks he is, he'd be very, very, very good. But what's really interesting to me is that he's decided to leave Celtic, who are about to win 8th or 9th,
7th or 8th or 9th, in a row or whatever.
and he's just gone. Nah, I'm back off to the Premier League. Like, mate, Celtic fans must be a bit. What's up with, mate? Why now? Wait till the end of the season, though.
Yeah, get an interim manager in. And one of the things that I thought was a bit weird as well is because there was talk of him going to Chelsea if Sarri goes as well, right? So that's a bit of a weird one, like to throw away the opportunity because now he's stuck. You know,
mate,
probably
that Chelsea job. I want that Chelsea job. The payoff is so nice. You're talking a minimum 9 mil. A minimum 9 mil.
Mate, it's tops.
How did you get to
look,
I worked for the Chelsea manager for 7 months.
Suddenly my bank account, there's lots of zeros in there. And a number in front of zeros.
All I did was do a really shit job and refuse to leave.
Oh, mate, it was pretty incredible, really. And I think that all in all, look, I mean, he's back. You know, we'll just have to lump it, you know, whether we like it or not. And
mate, don't be so downhearted about it. It'll be fun.
It'll be fun. It will be fun. Certainly more fun than when Claude was there. Now Claude's gone. Mate, he's done in the Premier League, isn't he? He's not going to come back. He's been labelled as boring. He's been labelled as someone who is not able to pick up his players for matches. Yet, with every club that he has been with, admittedly only 2, Southampton and with Leicester, he's done relatively well in terms of league positions, hasn't he? So
it was a weird one because when you look at Leicester City this year, they have lost a lot of games at home. Like they do quite well away from home, but I think they've lost their last 4 at home. They dropped out of the cups in miserable fashion. They lost to Newport. Let's not forget, and he's got a good squad there. I feel for him in a bit because whenever I've seen them play, they came to Wembley to play Tottenham. What was it, 2 weeks ago, and were much the better team. Like much.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah. I mean, we played Dortmund the game after, and I was like, Dortmund aren't as good as Leicester City. Like, and they've got some really good players. Like, I think the likes of Schmeichel, Slabhead, Vardy. And maybe in the future, even Gray and Chilwell could all be
Maddison and Chilwell, and
they could be
hang on,
Champions League players.
That spine, which is extremely important, obviously, for any football team, was the spine that didn't like Puel. The word from the camp was coming that Schmeichel came out and said some pretty brutal stuff. Slabhead, I don't think so, but Vardy, obviously, and his relationship with Puel was there for everyone to see. It's the spine of the team, and the spine of the team is not responding. So, and there's also a lot of talk as well about how this big shadow of the Premier League title is hanging over Leicester City, right? I mean, where do they go? It's become a sort of enigmatic kind of situation for a club who, you know, it's had a huge bubble, and that bubble just came out of nowhere, elated the area and the club and the players and the team, and then it got burst, obviously, and then, you know, next season there was Champions League, which was fine, but, you know, I hate to say it, and I don't want to say it, because I support a team who's kind of similar. The best that they can sort of expect is something outside of a top 7 place, right? Top 6 place, outside of a top 6 place for sure. And the best that they can hope for is 7th, but it could also be 18th. You know, I mean, it could.
Mate, let me put it to you this way, though. Let me put it to you this way: if Southampton were to win the league next year, would you care about football again? Like,
probably not. I'd come on here just to listen to your views. You know,
Yeah.
like I wouldn't be asked with I wouldn't have an opinion anymore. I'd be like,
Would you watch
just
football
remember that.
like in the future, or would you just kind of like keep up with the results and then you think to yourself, I could put the DVD on. Yeah, let's put the DVD on.
Mate,
Oh,
after Portugal won the European Championship, mate, I had 3 copies of the match against France on 3 different portable hard drives, which I could take with me anywhere. I had
in
a
3
copy
different
of it.
languages. I had it once in English, once in Portuguese, and once in French.
I had the Portuguese one and I had the English one. That was it. I didn't have the French one, but I did have the goal clip in 100 different languages or something. I had that. I extracted that from YouTube, and I also took a whole heap of different footage of Ronaldo going off, the free kick, the Payet incident. I had a library of it, and I took it with me, everywhere I went. I had them saved on OneDrive and everything, so just in case, just in case I needed to either remind myself or remind someone who was with me. So yes, it is an amazing moment, and I know where you're going. I think as a Leicester fan, they should be still living in that bubble a little bit, right? So, we'll get rid of this manager because we're the best we can hope for.
I know,
7th.
it's almost as if now is still the celebration of that title. Like if I were a Leicester fan, I'd be like, "Oh, champions of England." Don't care that it was 10 years ago. Jamie Vardy's having about it. Like, it's just go on forever and ever and ever and ever.
Mate, good on them. Good on them. I'm very happy for Leicester. Very happy, and obviously not now. These are dark times. But Brendan Rodgers coming in wherever next, mate.
Very dark.
It'll be interesting to if there's anybody out there, Leicester fan who's listening to this podcast, email us at bornoffsidepodcast@gmail.com with your views. Are you happy? Are you sad? If you're happy and you know it, write us an email. Mate, let's move on to Manchester United versus Liverpool over the weekend.
Nothing
Man
happened.
United. Man United very happy at having dented Liverpool's chances. I think that's about the only thing. The main thing is that 10 years ago, if Man United had played that way for a 0-0 draw against Liverpool, mate, the fans would have been on their tails, on the team's tails, trying to go, what the hell are you doing? But this time, Man United pretty much shut up shop. The weird thing about it all was all these injuries in the first half, wasn't it? That's what kind of derailed the whole match. Then afterwards, it just fizzled into a 0-0, basically. So
it was such a shame that David De Gea didn't pick up a knock, because that would have meant I'm thinking probably Paul Pogba in goal, and that would have been,
that would have been good.
Joyous. Don't you think Pogs would be like, one, he's in this mood at the moment, Pogba, where he's like, I am the club. I love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and I'll do anything for him. Even though he's a really strangely pale-skinned, oddly faced, elfish man.
I was going to say goblin.
Yes.
Yeah.
I, Paul Pogba, love this ginger goblin and I will fight for him. Go in goal, you say? I will do it.
Aye, aye, Captain.
C'est moi. C'est le Paul.
Everyone. Oh, God, who are we going to put in goal? Don't worry, boss. I am here. I am going. Look at these hands. I can use them.
Giant hands.
Mate, I thought the rule had been changed so that you can have 3 substitutions plus a goalkeeper extra.
Oh, don't ruin everything. Like, you could be right. Well, look, you could be right, but don't ruin my idea of Paul Pogba playing in goal. Like,
no, I'm with you. Don't worry. It's all good. It's all good. Because otherwise the whole Kepa the keeper situation as well.
Pogba. No, you're not taking me out of goal. Pogs, you've let in 3. 2 of them gone between your legs. It's embarrassing. Switch it around. You don't have to come off.
Yeah, but it's not my fault.
Just let Chris Smalling have a go in goal. You don't have to come off. You go back into midfield.
Mate, fucking Chris Smalling. What a turnip. Mate, let's not talk about... Please, let's leave Chris Smalling. Let's have a full, dedicated I hate Chris Smalling podcast in the future, please.
Okay.
Because like I just hate him so much. Oh my god, anyway, it doesn't matter. All right, he's got a pineapple on his head. Let's move on. Liverpool, Liverpool's chances obviously now severely dented. Severely dented, not severely dented, because there's still a long way to go in this league. But momentum has definitely swung back in Manchester City's favour for this.
Yeah, I mean, they're destroyed. They're a point clear at the top of the top of the league table with 10 games to go. They're fucked. They're done.
Yeah,
it's over.
I know. How weird is that? It's all about momentum. That's what it is. But yeah, that was it was a hugely disappointing match and a little bit of a shame, I think, because everybody was looking forward to that game as a real Man United versus Liverpool match in terms of a spectacle.
Yes.
But we didn't get it on the pitch. But we got it in the crowds. We got it with the feeling, and for Man United fans and for other partisan fans who don't mind Man United, who have probably only become football fans in the last 3 years and haven't seen what Man United have put all of us through in the past, they probably thought, oh, it's good to see Manchester United back to win, to having the crowd back and all that crap. I still say fuck them. But it was a huge disappointment on the pitch in the end.
I mean, Liverpool are badly out of form, and Manchester United had all of those injuries, didn't they? It's unfortunate. Mate, you said it was all about momentum, but I think the reason Liverpool won't win the title is because their squad is not as good as Manchester City's.
Sturridge came on.
And Sturridge.
Yeah.
And even Shaqiri.
But at least bring Shaqiri on first, because I don't understand. Just before Christmas, when it was starting to get really, really messy, they brought Shaqiri on a number of occasions, and he did admirably, I thought, and he was even pushing for a possible start in front instead of one of those three. But Klopp has stuck to those three like glue, and has something happened between him and Shaqiri? I think, I don't know. But surely Shaqiri is the guy to bring on instead of Sturridge, and move Mane into the centre or Salah into the centre. And Salah was invisible during this game. It was a real disappointment in matches like this where you really need your big guns to step up. They didn't. And in the second half, playing against a team that was so, deflated because it didn't have any more substitutions to make, I would have been like, go straight for them and let's do this. Maybe even just play, revert to playing two centre backs or something, or I don't know. Take a defender off and bring a striker. Anyway, it was a bit frustrating for me. Because because Southampton were losing 2-0 at the time, and I switched over to watch the Man United versus Liverpool because I knew it was going to end in a complete disaster for Southampton after the first 30 minutes, and then regretted it because I went back and re-watched the Southampton versus Arsenal game. And let's talk about that now, shall we? Very quickly, mate. Southampton in big trouble. It was the game that nobody bothered to watch on Sunday.
Which is a mistake because it was the only game with goals.
Yeah, it was the only game with goals. There it was. Arsenal 2, Southampton 0. Mate, Southampton in big trouble now, really. Although obviously the results from last night with Cardiff, very, very good for a Southampton team. If there are any Southampton listeners out there, I just don't know any Southampton listeners. But mate, it was Arsenal 2, Southampton 0. It actually wasn't that bad in the end. But tonight it is Fulham. Southampton versus Fulham, and what a match that now is.
Yes, I shall be watching it. I won't.
Will you? Really?
No.
I didn't think. What are you on about, mate?
No. I mean, yeah, it's vital for you. If you can't beat Fulham, you're done.
Thank you. Yes, I think if we can't beat Fulham, then we're in all sorts of trouble because the rest of the matches that are coming up are Manchester United away. We've got a small matter of Tottenham at home. we've got Brighton away,
South Coast
which
Derby.
South Coast Derby. There we go. And then after that, we've got Liverpool, Wolves, and it's not looking good. And finally, towards the end of the season, I think the last few games it's a little bit more reasonable. We've got Newcastle, albeit away. They're on good form, but anything can happen. This Almiron guy, oh God, let's talk about that later. And then we've got Bournemouth. And finally, at the end, we've got West Ham and Huddersfield. So, the last 5 games are all kind of, we should get results, but the next few games are really, really bad. And in terms of form, we could be in all sorts of trouble for this one. So, all right, I think I've said it all, and I'm not going to say any more about Southampton. But I think I'm genuinely quite concerned, and one of the reasons why I'm very concerned as well is because without Southampton in the Premier League next season, mate, I ain't doing a podcast. Screw you, fuck it.
Oh.
Oh, you know what? I will. And there's been a lot of talk about this recently as well. Watching your team win is very enjoyable. And those teams who either finish top of the championship and come up to the Premier League to just keep losing, Wolverhampton Wanderers excluded. I remember 4 or 5 and 6 seasons ago when Southampton were in the lower leagues and we were winning everything. And it was great. It was like you switch on the TV and you're like, now we've probably won. Oh, look, we've won. And it's, there's something about that. It's not the Premier League, but anyway, there we go. But, maybe we should just go down so that we can start winning again. I don't know. It's very depressing. I'm almost in tears here. Sweet Southampton. Please beat Fulham tonight. All right. Mate, why don't we go off for a quick break? And when we come back, we'll wrap up the pod.
Yes, please. Wrap it up. Wrap it up. Time to feed that pup. The pup said sup, and we all got up. Well done, Claude. We'll see you again in part 4.
Welcome back, everybody. We are going to wrap up the pod very quickly. Mate, I think we're going to wrap up the pod very quickly with just a little word for Lionel Messi. He scored that hat trick over on the weekend, and I thought that a little bit of news from Europe, really, because there's not much going on. Juventus are pretty much flying away with it. There's a bit of bite in the Bundesliga. It's quite close in the La Liga, isn't it? I think PSG are only 75 points clear.
You mean Ligue 1?
So, like. League Mbappe. League
Mbappe. League
Oh, he's gone again. How many has he scored this season?
Not that many, I think. You mentioned Lionel, who is top of the goal scoring charts in Spain. In fact, top of the goal scoring charts in all of the top leagues in Europe with 25. He's also top of the assist charts in Spain. No, sorry, top of the assist charts in Europe. So you have to hand it to the little Argentine. He is quite good at football. And he's been quite good at football for a while now. His 50th hat trick. His 50th, count them, 50 professional hat tricks. I'm sorry, but
in a modern day,
hat trick 37
against Real Betis, or the one against Arsenal. Sorry, no, that was 4. Sorry. He's just a quick word just to wrap up on him because he's such a special player, mate. Do you think if he'd taken a course in bakery, he would have made the best muffins in the world ever? You'd have to keep going to that bakery, and
not only would he have done that, he would have helped the baker next to him and the baker on the other side of him be the best bakers they possibly could be.
He
would have done it for 12 years in a row.
and been extremely modest about it as well. It's
Yes, but then when the baker to the right decided to fuck off to Paris because he wasn't as good a baker as he was, he wouldn't have even held it against him. And meanwhile, while the baker on the left is a suspect, racist bastard with a cannibalism obsession, has now gotten a bit fat. He's still okay with that as well.
He's still okay. They're still mates. They're still okay, you know. And, you know, there was another baker in another city, in another club as well, who was also rivaling him for baking.
No, he's not a baker. He's a pastry chef. It's different. He's different.
He's a butcher.
People compare them all the time, but one is a baker, and one is a pastry chef. And, we should stop comparing them. They both deal in wheat-based products, but it's different. It's different.
It's different. Mate, and as much as the modern day baking society press attempted to lump them into the same grouping, they are basically living in different barrels, aren't they? So you're right. It is a different language that they're talking. Now, Lionel Messi is undoubtedly, I think, for anyone who's living in this period of time, the best football player in the world ever. For those who are too young to remember Maradona's and Pele's, which are a lot of us, we look at the players when he does retire. We must look at all the players and say who is the best player ever to have played. And I'm sorry, but I think that Messi is better, even though a lot of the talk is the fact that he hasn't won a World Cup and he hasn't won or he hasn't won any major sort of competitions with this country. I don't think that's a good metric. I don't think that is a good metric at all. That's not what football is about. I think the bottom line of football is art. It's beauty. It's paying to go to a football match, to a spectacle, and watching something and saying, yes, it was worth paying that money for it. Not amassing everything together and going, well, he didn't win this or he didn't win that. It's about the beauty. That's what the best football player in the world should be. It's about the beauty of playing football. And I think, and you know me, I'm a big, obviously, Ronaldo fan for obvious reasons, being Portuguese. But to me, I think Lionel Messi is and has been and will be the best football player ever to grace this planet at any point in time.
Indeed. Well said.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for listening in, for tuning in. Do remember to subscribe to our new YouTube channel. Subscribe also, please, to our podcasts, and email us in with any requests and with anything that you'd like to talk to us about as well at bornoffsidepodcast@gmail.com, and we will endeavor to get onto those pointers as well. Dave, anything else from you?
No.
All right, governor. Love it. Thanks, Kepa, the keeper, for giving us a very entertaining weekend and a very entertaining pod as well.
All weekend. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
See ya. Bye.